What do you get when you mix college pride, sky-high adrenaline, and a metal bat? Absolute madness. Because in the College World Series, chaos isn't the exception, it's the tradition. No lead is safe, no pitch is routine, and no game is over until someone's dogpiling on the mound. From walk-offs by dudes who hadn't hit a homer all year, to unranked squads taking down titans, these are the craziest, most chaotic finishes the College World Series has ever seen.
Warren Morris hits a deep drive down the right field line. That ball is gone! LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris.
Man, we're starting with a moment that still echoes through Omaha nearly 3 decades later. A swing that turned a quiet kid with 0 home runs into an LSU folk hero. It was the bottom of the 9th in Omaha, and LSU was hanging on by a thread. Down 8-7, 2 outs, a runner on first. Miami was 1 pitch away from dogpiling on the mound and sipping championship glory. The tension was electric. Every fan in the stadium was either chewing their nails or holding their breath. Then stepped in Warren Morris. Now, Morris wasn't some slugger waiting to launch bombs. The guy had spent most of the season nursing a wrist injury. More like he was getting paid by the hour to watch baseball. He hadn't hit a single home run all year. Not one. His presence in the lineup was more of a gesture than a threat, a senior returning for one last shot. But baseball has a way of turning long shots into legends. With everything on the line, Morris stepped in and swung at the first pitch he saw. The ball jumped off his bat and soared toward right field. It kept carrying and carrying until it cleared the wall. A walk-off, a 2-run blast. LSU wins 9-8. The place went nuclear. The dugout exploded. Teammates sprinted to mob him at home plate. One swing had flipped heartbreak into history. That was Morris's only home run all season, his only one, and it was enough to win LSU a national title, its first in 6 years. In a sport built on pressure, that swing became folklore, a moment where a quiet senior with a taped-up wrist wrote himself into Omaha immortality. If Morris gave us the most unexpected swing, this next one gave us the most impossible journey. Fresno State rolled into the 2008 NCAA tournament as a number 4 regional seed. You know what number 4 seeds usually do? They go home early and watch the rest on TV. Nobody, and I mean nobody, had them making noise. But apparently, nobody told Fresno State they weren't supposed to be there. Game after game, they kept knocking off the big boys, cutting down blue blood programs, and rewriting the bracket with every upset. No one saw them coming. By Game 3 of the finals against Georgia, they'd already staged one of the wildest runs in college baseball history. But the fairy tale wasn't finished. The final game, pure grit. Georgia, loaded with talent, struck first, but Fresno hung in, trading punches. In the late innings, the Bulldogs dug deep, stringing together clutch, 2-out hits that flipped the game and left Georgia stunned. Then came the final out. A screaming line drive off a Georgia bat, caught. Ball game. Dogpile, history made. Fresno State, the team nobody saw coming, had just won it all. They didn't just win, they rewrote history. Lowest seed to ever win the College World Series, a team written off in April, crowned champions in June. The world didn't expect them. That's exactly why they became unforgettable. If Fresno State was the Cinderella everyone ignored, Coastal Carolina was the one no one even knew existed. The 2016 College World Series final came down to a single game. Winner takes all. On one side, Arizona, a traditional powerhouse with Omaha pedigree. On the other hand, Coastal Carolina, a scrappy mid-major with 0 national titles, 0 expectations, and frankly, 0 pressure. They were playing with house money. But when they reached Game 3 of the finals against Arizona, it wasn't just a feel-good story anymore. It was destiny knocking. Coastal held a tight 4-3 lead going into the 9th. Nerves were everywhere. In the stands, in the dugouts, on the mound. Arizona just needed a clean top half to stay alive. Instead, they blinked. 2 defensive errors cracked the door open, and Coastal stormed through. They couldn't blow the game wide open, but they rattled Arizona just enough to shift the energy. The lead held, the pressure built. In the bottom of the 9th, with 2 outs and the tying run on second base, Arizona's final hope came in the form of a sharp ground ball to second. Coastal's second baseman fielded it cleanly, made a smooth flip to first, and nailed the out. No drama, drama, no chaos, just cold-blooded composure from a team that had never been there before. Coastal Carolina were national champions for the first time in school history in any sport ever. The team flooded the field like kids who couldn't believe what just happened. Because honestly, who could? A team from Myrtle Beach just finished the greatest baseball season of their lives with a routine play that made history feel surreal. Some games feel like a war. This one was a straight-up pitcher's duel in the Thunderdome. LSU vs Wake Forest 2023. Two loaded teams, two elite aces, and absolutely zero intention of backing down. Paul Skeens for LSU, Rhett Lauder for Wake Forest, both future first-round picks throwing absolute gas. For 10 innings, it was like watching a masterclass in how to make hitters look silly. Scoreless through 9 innings, still scoreless through 10. Every pitch felt like it was vibrating with pressure. Then came the 8th inning. Wake Forest had a golden chance, runner speeding home, but LSU first baseman Trey Morgan made a diving scoop and fired a perfect relay to the plate to save the game. Heroic, clutch, insane. Fast forward to the bottom of the 11th. Dylan Cruz singled. Wake switched pitchers, and the first pitch Camden Minacci threw, Tommy White launched it into the night. Just like that, LSU won 2-0 and punched its ticket to the national final. The bench exploded, the crowd erupted, and LSU didn't look back. It wasn't just one of the craziest endings of 2023, it was pure cinema. But while some endings come with fireworks, others with a mistake so shocking it leaves the stadium stunned in silence. Game 1 of the 2011 College World Series final was a grind. South Carolina and Florida, two SEC powerhouses, traded zeros for 9 innings, then pushed the tension into extras. Pitchers kept dealing, defenses held tight, every pitch felt like it was balancing on a knife's edge. In the bottom of the 11th, South Carolina loaded the bases. The dam was about to break, but not the way anyone expected. With 2 outs, a slow chopper rolled into Florida's first baseman. It looked routine, field it, step on the bag, inning over. But then he threw home and it sailed. Walk-off error. South Carolina didn't need a hero swing or a clutch hit. They just needed Florida to have one of those moments where your brain and your arm stop talking to each other. And boy, did they deliver. It wasn't dramatic in the traditional sense. No bat flip, no celebration lap, just the most awkward game winner in College World Series history. And probably the most devastating. Florida never recovered from that gut punch. South Carolina swept the series and won back-to-back national titles. But that Game 1 ending, that's the one that haunts Gator fans to this day. Some games are shocking because of a single play, others because of a single mistake. But in 1987, Stanford redefined what it meant to survive. If there was ever a team that refused to die, it was Stanford in '87. Twice in the College World Series, they were down to their final strike. Not just final out, final strike. And twice, they pulled off the impossible. The first step came against LSU. Down by a run in the bottom of the 10th, Stanford had 2 outs and a 1-2 count. 1 strike away from going home. Then came the spark. A clutch hit to tie the game, followed by a walk-off single that sent them into the next round. You'd think fate wouldn't test them twice, but it did. Against Oklahoma State, same situation, down to their last strike, and again they rallied. A 2-out, 2-strike double ignited another improbable comeback. This time they blew the game open with a late inning surge. No walk-off needed, just straight up offensive vengeance. And anchoring it all, future MLB All-Star Jack McDowell kept things ice cold on the mound. The bullpen shut the door, and Stanford marched to its first national title, its first in program history. But ask anyone who watched, it wasn't the trophy that defined the run, it was those back-to-back final strike comebacks, 2 elimination games, 2 final strikes, 2 miracles. Sometimes you don't just win, you cheat death twice and laugh about it. Now, comebacks are cool and all, but sometimes the craziest ending is when there's no drama at all. The 2007 College World Series was supposed to be wide open. Oregon State rolled in with a losing conference record and 0 expectations. They were the defending champs, sure, but everyone had written them off. Then they got to Omaha and decided to casually destroy everyone. After edging out Cal State Fullerton in a 3-2 nail-biter, the Beavers hit a different gear. What followed was one of the most dominant performances in College World Series history. 4 straight wins, all by 6 runs or more. They went 5-0 and trailed for exactly 1 one inning the entire tournament, the first inning of their very first game. In the finals against North Carolina, it wasn't even close. Game 2 featured a blowout 9-3 win that sealed the title. Their lineup came alive behind the bat of Darwin Barney, while their pitching staff, led by freshman Jorge Reyes, shut down some of the toughest hitters in the country. Reyes, who was named the tournament's most outstanding player, delivered poise and power beyond his years. This was a team with a losing record in conference play, defending champs that nobody believed in, yet they became the first program since LSU in the 90s to repeat as national champions. Oregon State didn't win with luck. They didn't need a miracle. They showed up and steamrolled the competition from start to finish. In a tournament defined by chaos, their cold-blooded efficiency was shocking in its own right. Oregon's dominance was impressive, but sometimes the craziest endings are the ones that slip right through your fingers. No one saw Michigan coming in 2019. Not even Michigan. They crashed the Omaha bracket like a band of underdog pirates, toppling Texas Tech, blanking Florida State, and riding Tommy Henry's 10-strikeout shutout into the finals. Game 1 went their way. A 7-4 victory over the powerhouse Vanderbilt Commodores, a sign that maybe, just maybe, the underdogs had the horses to finish the job. Suddenly, a team that hadn't reached the final since 1984 was one win from glory. But then, Vanderbilt woke up. In Game 2, freshman phenom Kumar Rocker delivered a dominant outing, striking out 11 while surrendering just 3 hits, and Vandy won 4-1 to force a decisive Game 3. Then came Game 3, and it wasn't close. Vanderbilt blew it open early, scoring 4 in the second and never looking back. Pitcher Mason Hickman fanned 10, and the Commodores cruised to an 8-2 win, securing their second national title in 5 years. For Michigan, it was heartbreak, 1 win short, one dream left unfinished, but that's what made it unforgettable. They didn't just push a juggernaut, they cracked it. For 9 innings, they made everyone believe. And in a tournament full of chaos and glory, sometimes the craziest endings aren't the ones you win, but the ones you almost steal. Now, some endings come by way of walk-offs, errors, or home run glory, but one ending, one of the most legendary ever, came on a bunt. The year was 1973. College baseball was still carving its identity on the national stage, and USC was already a dynasty in the making. But even dynasties need defining moments, and this, buried in the 9th inning of Game 3, was theirs. The Trojans were locked in a tight battle when coach Rod Dedeaux called a play that left the crowd gasping, a squeeze bunt. With the tying run on 3rd and 1 out, USC's batter dropped to one knee and laid down the bunt. The bat rolled just past the pitcher, the runner broke for home, the throw came in, and he slid in safe. Game over. Trojans win. No moonshot, no flip celebration, just old school strategy executed with surgical precision in the biggest moment of the night. That squeeze bunt didn't just win the championship, it helped define USC's dynasty and became one of the most talked about finishes in College World Series history. That's the raw beauty of the College World Series. Whether it's power, precision, heartbreak, or pure dumb luck, every ending writes its own legend in the Omaha dirt. Some players go pro, others go down in history, but the College World Series, it belongs to the moments that stopped time, dropped jaws, and left us all breathless. Which ending shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, and smash that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Subscribe for more unforgettable sports stories, and we'll see you in the next one.